I say dismantle the whole system because this is stupid. How are your dreams feeding into my pockets? But if someone puts his hands on you, send them to the cemetery.
You know, the progress, where is it going?
Yeah, boy.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Real Talks. We're in the month of February, so you know what that means. It's Black History Month. So this month is all about, spreading information on Black history, learning about different perspectives about how people feel on Black history and where we're gonna go as a Black community. I do apologize for not being able to get a video out sooner. We're in the middle of the month already, but I do plan on getting at least 2 or 3 more out along with this video because I feel like these are important videos. Today I'm here with a KSU student, Lauren Christian. We pretty much know each other through our friends, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Tell your major.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lauren. My major is psychology, and I'm 19, sophomore at Kennesaw. And I also do YouTube content creator with my friend, and our title is LÓre Rich. So if you guys want to check us out,
I will put the link for all that in the description because we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you say you're a psychology major?
Yes, I was an architecture major, and I'm a psychology major. Pre-law, but psychology.
I might minor in psychology. Communications, psychology. Motivational speaker, communications. Yeah, because all of the trying to be like a motivational speaker, but then psychology would,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you say you got the YouTube channel, LÓre Rich. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. But pretty much, I did get a chance to look at your YouTube channel, and I see that you do interviews. You interview Black companies and Black businesses. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So basically, my friend and I, Rocky, we started this YouTube channel because we wanted basically to showcase Black people, minorities, and just voices that you wouldn't normally hear. So this goes for artists, painters, businesses, Black love, and we're also gonna do different short films and just basically all these different types of film, as well as showcasing different talent that we see on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So what made you get into doing the interviews with you?
Me personally, I really liked watching interviews. There's this one YouTube channel, Soft White Underbelly, that I watch all their videos, and I liked that he would just interview, regular day-to-day people. And I had spoke to Rocky about it, and Rocky's like, yeah, I mean, we love interviews. We love watching interviews. When it comes to Black-owned, we love getting Black-owned food, Black-owned product. And we were like, why don't we find a way to showcase these different things? We're in Atlanta, which is the Black Mecca. So it just made sense.
Yeah. So so your movement with doing the interviews, what's the outcome you want after overall?
Basically, again, just to showcase those different voices and just provide a platform for upcoming people or people who are already getting attention. We want it to be a space for everybody. So definitely it doesn't matter the followers, the attention. We just want to showcase you because everyone does something, especially now after quarantine. A lot of people kind of found their niche or what they were into. So it's the perfect time and a platform you can go to see all these different things.
Yeah. So you guys make sure you go check out LÓre Rich on YouTube. Also hit her up if you got a business or you're doing something. She is definitely open for interviews. So pretty much, like I said, we know each other through our friends. And what I've learned from them is that you're this activist.
I told you this. I'm so curious. When you said that, I was like, who told you?
I can't give names, But yeah, so I don't know. I want to clear that up,
Yeah,
So.
who told you? I'm so curious. But Yeah, they're definitely right. When you said it, I was like, I'm so glad
okay.
people know and people are aware and they can tell other people about it. It was definitely true.
It was like
I knew it was him. I knew it was him. Yeah, that's what I guessed, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, but so like as a doing activist related things, does that come from like is your family like already deeply involved in like the Black movement? And, want to talk about that?
Okay, so actually, my family really isn't that involved. And when the different protests and things like that were going on over summer, and I wanted to participate, my mom was actually like not supportive, and she didn't want me to go. Like, I guess her ideology was my voice wasn't gonna like make a difference. So instead, there was like a protest at like a park in my neighborhood or community, and I actually ended up speaking there. And I didn't tell my parents. I just went, and I was like the first speaker, and it felt really good. But yeah, no, it's not like from my parents. It's just a feeling that I have and a lot of my friends have. So I think growing up in my community, it's majority like white and Asian. Okay. So being a Black person and then a Black woman at that, I think talking about these topics was really important.
Okay. So like, what does it mean to you to be like, an activist? Like, what does that consist of?
I guess just speaking out for things that I think are important. Okay. That's the main thing.
Cause I had heard you say like, you kind of like to shop around at Black owned businesses and stuff. So is that like part of the whole movement? Or?
I guess you can say it is. I think after I was just like, why not support Black people? Like I love being Black. I love Black. Why not support Black people?
Do you ever watch that series on Netflix? I don't even know if it was a series or like a TV show, but I guess a guy would. What's his name? I forgot his name, but like he would just go around and try to like eat out at Black owned.
Wait, the rapper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't remember. It's real. I know.
If somebody can comment what we're talking about. What is it?
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike. Yeah,
right.
Did you say
Mike something?
Michael Blackson.
So, the Killer Mike.
I did watch that.
Was it a series? Or
yeah, it was a series. It was really good.
So I never got to check it out, but I did hear good things about it.
Yeah, it was really informative. And the thing about like that series was like how difficult it was for him just to find like Black owned things because everything that was Black owned, it traced back to like a white corporation. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it wasn't really Black owned. Exactly. That's why it was so difficult for him to like.
Yeah, I heard he went to one spot and he was pretty much like starving himself because he couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when he went to like different restaurants, the place that they would get their food from was white corporations or like farms. It just always be from like white people. Yeah.
So going back to you being like an activist. So you said your parents really isn't like deeply involved as much as you are.
No.
So like I just want to know who inspires you to do what you do as far as like maybe somebody you look up to who did this type of work in the past or somebody who's doing this type of work now. Or like
I don't know if it was ever like a specific person that inspired me. I think again, like growing up where I grew up, I found like comfort with being around like Black people and Black girls who I could relate to. I also in high school was a part of this club, Woke. Me and my friend were like co-presidents senior year.
What was the club called?
Woke.
That's
but me and my friend were like co-presidents senior year, and like it just started talking about everything, and I felt like this was a place where I could like actually voice how I was feeling about all these different things. But I wouldn't say it was a specific person.
Yeah, Woke stand for something.
Wearing our culture intimately.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, like, so when it comes to change being possible, because that's the whole thing about, Black people wanting to see change. So, like, when you think about that, who gives you that, like, mindset to know that change is possible?
Okay, first, I would definitely say just Black women, period.
Okay.
Black women who are famous, who aren't famous, Black women on a day-to-day basis, in my opinion, are just really inspiring. And whenever I just see Black women like doing great things, it just reminds me that like I can do the same thing.
Cool. Let's see. So like, pretty much today, like the conversation we've been pretty much. I've been trying to like get the crowd to get to know you, and I want to get to know you a little more. But the main conversation is going to be around like, your perspective on like how you think we came at like as a Black community as far as like equal rights go, and where do you think we're going in the future? And pretty much we're just gonna like, as far as from your knowledge, create a timeline.
Okay.
As far as like you know equal rights and police brutality and all of it.
Okay.
Lauren did come with a friend. His name is Rocky, and we're gonna like let him come up here. He knows more about
history buff. He knows everything. So
but we're gonna keep the conversation going. So this is Rocky.
Hello, everybody.
If you want to give a little self intro real quick, then we're gonna hop right back into the discussion.
All right. So my name is Rocky. 21. Used to go to Kennesaw for architecture. I'm kind of in between, a bunch of stuff right now. But I am a trans man. My pronouns are he, they. Yeah.
And then you're also her work partner.
Yes.
Yes.
Lauren and I started a channel together. I had like made a couple of videos, and then I was like, Lauren, you want to help me on this? And she was just all for it.
So Lawrence pretty much said that you're the one, like the history whiz when it comes to, Black history. So pretty much I was asking Lauren about, people who also, help move the Black movement that, we probably don't get as much spotlight as, the Martin Luther King's, Malcolm X, or the parts, other people who also, did a lot.
Right. And I mean, okay, so it's like there's definitely a lot of like hidden figures within the 60s and everything. Then you had the 70s, which was like radical movement, where it was like we're gonna wear our natural hair out, and we're gonna wear clothes that we want to wear, and we're gonna be loudly Black. So I love the 70s because it's just like, yes, this is so great. And like Lauren said, Marsha P. Johnson. Whoosh. Marsha P. Johnson was one, that I recently learned about, and it's always so. And she wasn't the 60s, but like it's always so shocking to me because her voice or in her story is one that isn't told as often.
Yeah, I definitely didn't hear about that story.
Exactly. And it's like even in the LGBTQ community, like a lot of people do not know about her. And it's crazy because she had so many programs that she was making to help, LGBTQ people and like trans women and women in general, and like.
And this happened you said the 60s or like the 70s?
The Stonewall riots, it was actually June 28th, 1969.
But going back to like, the people that we do know, the Martin Luther Kings, Malcolm X, them two in particular, they had different like ways of like how to Black people. So I just want to know which side like fits you guys.
I'm more Malcolm X.
I'm for Malcolm X.
I feel like I'm more Malcolm. For real? Wow.
Yeah, my thing is this. They both had two different ideologies, but at the end of the day, they understood that we can argue about that or debate about that or, choose which way is right after we start getting some of these things done. Because at the end of the day, if you're not connected and on the same page for the bigger picture, you're too busy splitting hairs, you're not getting enough progress. So that's why they were able to work together, even though it was like, okay, obviously we're not going to see eye to eye on this.
Yeah. With it now.
But we know that we can at least come to a middle ground for now so that we can get to the next step, so that we can then talk about how we need to do this in particular. But the most important part is you've got to actually unify and move as a team.
You're right. So pretty much like, do you guys think when it comes to Malcolm X's ideology, it could have had led to like, you know, another civil war, or like pretty much, you know, having.
I mean, the thing with Malcolm X is it was like, what is it? He's only doing something if you do it to him. It's not like they're actively going after anybody. It's if you're gonna come at me crazy, I'm gonna come at you with that same.
But you know, that was Martin's whole thing was like, you know, violence against violence is still violence, you know.
I mean,
so, I definitely agree with Malcolm X, but I'm just, you know.
That definitely makes sense, and I think especially like honestly, just any time prior to now, white people can be really like, they can do a lot. I mean, hosing people, putting dogs on people, like you have to have a lot of restraint to not want to like do anything bad. And me, I know I'm gonna want to do something bad, and I don't think it's wrong, because again, it's not going out and just doing it recklessly. It's, what is that saying he says?
You can't separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace unless he has freedom. Be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hands on you, send him to the cemetery. That's the one.
It's like, I mean, it's that same ideology, but it's like something.
I mean,
if you're not ready to die for it, put the word freedom out of your vocabulary.
These are Malcolm X quotes, by the way.
Yeah, you're not to be so blind with patriotism that you can't face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter who does it or says it.
So, I wanted to we're gonna fast forward a little bit to, you know, the 2000s, where like, you know, a lot of change had happened up until
a man who stands for nothing falls for. Well, that's the biggest one I know.
A lot of things had happened, like a lot of great things happened before the 2000s. But then we're still building, of course. So I just want to, you know, talk about, you know, some good and bad that happened, you know, up until this point. Of course, going into, you know, 2020, where we had, you know, a list of people that was like, you know, I guess shot and killed for like no reason last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say at least for are you talking like Black Lives Matter timeline?
Yeah.
Okay. So Black Lives Matter, I definitely would say from the beginning with Trayvon Martin up until now, it definitely has grown a lot. But at least for the summer protests, I would say a lot of the attention seemed to be more for clout maybe, and people not truly caring about the movement and wanting to see change and things progress. It was more as for example, Blackout Tuesday, a lot of people had just posted the black screen and kind of left it at that. They didn't change anything. They didn't have any type of conversations. They didn't go to any protests. They didn't talk about anything. They didn't learn anything. And that was the main thing that bothered me with that, because I felt like a lot of people were doing that because, oh, I don't want to be looked at as I don't care, or I'm racist or anything else. But at the same time, you truly don't care. You only did that because you felt pressured because everyone else was doing it. So, yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Oh, no. One of my main problems is it seems like you have to be more cautious about sincerity, you know? Because everything becomes so performative since you're always under a social microscope. Folks are, it's just like the whole cancel culture. Everything you say and do, folks will dig through that just to find little things and be like, oh, well, you said this, that, and the third, da, da, da. And so then that brings in question your sincerity. Are you doing this because this is actually how you feel and you've grown from that point? Or are you doing this because you don't want folks to keep throwing that in your face? You don't actually care. You just want to have the illusion of actually being part of the solution.
Yeah.
So sincerity is definitely a problem, I feel. But that being said, we have a very interesting experience, as in how much information and how quickly we're able to spread it.
That's true.
And like that's something that our forefathers didn't have.
That's true, but then at the same time, a lot of things is still pushed under the rug. I had recently found out. This is like interesting to me. Like if someone is shot but doesn't die at the scene and they're taken to the hospital, that it's not like recorded, because they didn't. Yeah, I was watching like podcasts and I heard that. It was like a Black Lives Matter podcast.
This is why I say dismantle the whole system, because this is stupid.
So
there's so many issues, and I think it was a whole thing between just like again just reorganizing the system perhaps, or actually like destroying the system and building a new one. And I'm for destroying and building a new one, because if you look at the principles that policing was built on, policing was literally built on protecting white people from Black people. Like you can't just reorganize that system. That same ideology is still in a lot of police officers' minds. They're racist families coming from a racist line of policemen. You can't just reorganize that.
I was gonna say it's the fact that it's like when you have a system specifically built for one thing in mind, there's no way that you can fix it because it's not broken.
Yeah.
This is how it was made. This is how it was supposed to operate.
Yeah,
and now people are just realizing, we don't actually have to live, the veil is being lifted. I don't actually have to live this way. There are things that I can do to change how I'm living and how I'm being treated. But of course, the system doesn't want you to know that because it's like, again, it's a top dogs, bottom bitches. And it's like, you are either the bottom or you are either the elite. And that's why the middle class is shrinking. And we're having a very big disparity between incomes and class. It's the same thing that you see in like third world countries and everything. Where like in India, for example, I was reading about how their middle class is basically non-existent, and it's either you're struggling or you're like ridiculously out of your mind rich. And it's, it's polar opposite.
You have brought up the system, and then earlier you had spoken like, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. So pretty much like, the Black Lives Matter, like you said, it done like came a long way over time, starting with the Trayvon Martin case.
Yes.
And, moving forward. But we all know like 2020, was like a crazy year.
Yeah.
Like, not only with COVID, but we had hella protests and people like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and the list, it goes on. So I just want to talk about like you said, the system isn't broken. So like you said, trying to fix a system that isn't broken, like the progress, where is it going then?
Well, see, and me and some of my friends were actually very active in the protest, and like signing petitions, making sure we spreaded information and everything. And like the thing is, the system as it is right now is not going to be self-sufficient for much longer, because now people are realizing that not only does it have its foot on, Black and brown necks, but, now the white citizens are realizing, you know what? I'm not treated too much differently than them. I'm just not killed for no reason, but like, I'm still poor. I'm still not given the same, consideration when it comes to, healthcare and, livable wages and, taking care of my kids' education. Yeah. I'm still at the bottom. I'm just not that low. Yeah. And now that they're realizing it, no matter whether they're, for the movement or not, the system is not going to be able to sustain itself for much longer. So once that crashes, the question is who takes over and rebuilds? Hopefully it's people who have, equity for all in mind, and equity instead of equality, because, equality, okay, one example that I really like is you're all trying to see over a fence. The really tall guy has a crate to stand on. The middle-sized, average guy has a crate to stand on, and this really short guy has a crate to stand on. You're all equal. You all have a crate. Tall guy and middle guy can see. Short guy is sitting there because he needs another box. Yeah. Equity would be for the tall guy, you don't have a box. You don't need one. You can see over the fence. Average guy, you get one box, and then you're able to see, and you don't need anything else. And the shortest guy, because he needs it, gets 2 crates. That's equity.
So, when it comes to, I guess, how many people, not how many people, but people would say, sometimes the way things are going, it could lead to, another civil war, which would be kind of, problematic. But, that's a lot of people, dying and stuff. So, do you think that's something that...
My thing is, and I was having this conversation with one of our friends, Joseph, either way, our people are going to die. So, it's, do we want to lay down and be slaughtered? Or do we want to say, you can do this if you think you are going to get away with it, but we're not going to put up with that. I don't know. And I mean, some of my best friends are Haitian, so it's like, I'm all for Haitian revolution.
So have I ever thought about something in a sense, we wasn't here to begin with, just, I don't know, taking what we have back to the homeland, just...
Who is that, Marcus Garvey?
I just wondering,
Go ahead.
Okay, I mean, I definitely understand. Not as a racist.
I wanted to say something on that because I always thought about that type of stuff. I feel like this system, we keep saying, isn't built for us. So I don't understand why we believe that we can actually grow and thrive as a people in a system that was not built for us at all. I feel like we would get more accomplished if we go and try to figure it out ourselves and, build unity ourselves in our homeland, than to try to do that here. Because it's not going to happen. We see what happens every time we try to build unity.
Exactly.
Wall Street and all the groups, Black Panthers, all that type of stuff. It's always going to get ended because this is not for us here. It's not for us. Right. I mean, I feel like going back would definitely help.
But I'll answer your question because this is why we can't do that. The reason why we can't do that is because unlike white people, right? If they got fed up and wanted to leave one day, they can do a DNA test. They can look back through their family tree and pinpoint exactly where they're from and go back there and involve themselves in that culture, right? They could pinpoint cousins that they got and reconnect with those cousins and everything.
Yeah.
Black people do not have American Black people and Black people from, differing, parts of the triangle trade. We don't have that same opportunity. Like Lauren said, we were literally treated like property. A lot of slaves didn't even know their birthdays, but and you get... The whole point was to completely break down and erase our connection to, a lineage. So it's like, you can't think of Africa as a monolith, Africa is filled with hundreds of thousands of different ethnic groups and people and cultures. Yeah. And, It's not, oh, let's just go back to Africa. Okay, Africa's a continent. What country are you going to? What economy are you putting your money into? What, resources are you, gathering from? Because you can't just go over there and do what? Say this is mine and you haven't lived over here? That's sounding real familiar. And they didn't,
Right.
I'm not sure that they take too well to that. Because we have to remember, we are an outsider looking in. We don't understand what they need over there because we're not living there. We're not, we don't have that same experience, because yes, they were treated horribly, but they were also treated horribly at their home. The Native Americans would be able to relate more to them, to have, foreigners come into your land and just completely destroy it and say it's mine. But the difference between us and them is we were taken from our land and put in a completely different environment, and systematically broken down and separated from our roots. So it's like, you can't say, let's just go back to Africa. Where? What are we doing? Where are we putting our money? You have to fix.
Now that Africa is definitely, broken up. It wasn't like that, to begin with, of course. But I don't know. I do feel like Zay, like Zay said, it is possible, to go back and rebuild, and because in a sense it's kind of somewhat similar, like what America does, just bring everything in and like expect everybody to live, amongst each other. So
we just have to find a different way to do it.
I feel like it's really interesting though, the part about like going back to Africa, and I think at least like, elementary school and middle school, something I didn't realize, a lot of people who were like African and knew exactly where they were from were like made fun of. And now when I think about that, I'm like, I would love to know where I don't know where I'm from. Like I know where the furthest like my grandparents are from, and I mean it's Alabama, New Jersey. Like I would like, if I could pinpoint exactly where I'm from, that'd be amazing. And so many Black people don't know where they're from and don't even like think about it too much. It's just like, oh, I don't know. And
a lot of Black people's family trees start from slavery.
Yeah,
it starts from a broken place.
Nothing was wrote down. There's no paperwork.
Like you're uneducated. You're not allowed to read, write, speak your native language, practice your native religion. You are completely separated from that root, and it's like my lineage. Yeah, the soil is still there, but if it's not the right soil, the root can't take place.
I guess, yeah.
And it's like, again, is it possible that we could go over and do like America and just bring all of our stuff? Yeah, but again, is that what those people want? Is that what they need? Because, again, scramble for Africa, that's what they did. And there was this whole white saviorism. We're helping these people. We're bringing them to, we have to take care of these people because they don't understand. They're savages. They're
the issue. They went over there thinking they were going
exactly. So again, the thing that we're basing like developedness off of, and that's my problem with first world, third world countries, right? All of our, calibrations are set to a Western ideal of what is success, of what is a good life, of what is quality living. But that's based on materials and money and, not being at the bottom of a caste system.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe they don't want that because that was, again, the government that was forced on them in the first place. So it's like...
That's why you don't bring that idea to them. You go to them and ask them what they feel like should happen in their country, and then we just use our materials to build on that. You feel me? Because they don't have all the means to do everything that they probably really want to do on
this
that
is
land.
True.
And we have that means. So we go over there and we unite and do that and listen to what they need and listen to their needs and then build upon that.
Really, we don't... Our materials are null and void. Most of the materials we're getting comes there anyway. We would just need to, industrialize it. But again, I just have a problem with industrializing Because again, technology and growing and science is so cool and interesting, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a scientist at heart. But it's like, there are people that literally live their day where they get up, they get their food, they sit around. The only work they have to do is maintaining what they have. They're not worried about capitalism. They're not worried about this rat race. They're not, worrying about a 9 to 5. They are living off the land and enjoying life.
Yeah.
And then people come and they're like, oh, well, you need more money so you can enjoy it, so you can sit on the beach and be rich. And, well, I'm already sitting on the beach enjoying life. You're getting the money so you can do what I'm already doing with no money. You know what I'm saying? It's a backward cycle. I'm getting all this money and all this wealth, and I'm accumulating and hoarding and stepping on all these necks so I can sit around and be lazy and live off the fruits of my labor. But why do that when you can cut out the middleman and just live off your fruit? That's why so many people are like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna live off the grid. Yeah. I'll eat what I only grow as much food as I'm gonna eat. I only, have clothes to, keep me warm, keep me cool, protect me from bugs. I only, take as much from the environment as I need, and I'm able to replenish it just as fast.
But not everybody down there has that same mindset. There's kids down there with dreams to be all types of things and dreams to do all types of things, but they have no means to do so.
Again, I get that. And like I said, I'm a science person at heart. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to get into genetics. I wanted to get into all these fields. We can do that, but why are we so focused on how to capitalize on this?
Nobody said anything about capitalization.
That's the driving dollar. Because that's the Western world mindset. If they don't know if they're going to get a return on investment, you don't get funds. Yes, you want to, but they don't give a shit about that. That's the problem. It's so money focused that you're worried about the money to take care of, it's like I was saying to somebody, people are more worried about, instead of going to the hospital, or going to the doctor regularly, I don't have the money for that. Right. Yeah. So in order to save money, I'm going to sit around sick because my health is not my number one priority. It's having enough money to take care of myself, to fix the problems that I have, from not having enough money. It's a snowball. Yeah. It's a hole that we keep going in. We could easily focus more on, let's take all the resources we have, build these facilities, and just go explore space if we want to. But no, you have to get government funding, or you have to get public source funding, or you have to get money from somewhere so you can pay someone to do this, so that you can pursue your dreams. But again, before they invest in you, they don't give a flying cock that you have a dream. But everybody got dreams. What are you doing? How are your dreams feeding into my pockets so that I can live my dreams?
Yeah. We could go on and on, of course. That's a very, a deep topic for real. Like, just, about, as a Black community, where we're about to go, and like different ways. Obviously, we could do things in different ways. But we'll probably get more into that later on Real Talks. But do you have any last remarks?
Happy Black History Month. Send a Black person $10.
Oh God! Oh yeah!
I do
want to start doing that every day of February for the rest of the years.
You start with me
until reparations build up.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
I do want to thank both of you guys for coming out and talking with me on Real Talks. I feel like this is like probably gonna be one of my favorites. For one, it's the first one that I got to do. Like, well, I really didn't get to know much. I didn't know much like background, mostly aside from your interviews. So like it was just interesting, learning about you guys. Also it's Black History Month, so like we did put out a lot of knowledge right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys go subscribe to LÓre Rich and also hit her up if you want to do an interview, if you have like Black business or like
artists,
Yeah.
musicians, Black club couples, anything.
Or if you just have a great story.
Exactly. We're doing life story interviews, all of that. So.
Okay, and make sure you like this video, comment, and subscribe, and share. If you're listening off of Spotify and Apple, head over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel M.O.O.N Talks. Lastly, if you guys enjoyed this, I hope you guys will be coming back in the future for more real talks on various topics, and will y'all be back?
I can do that.
Appreciate it. Well, that's the end of this conversation, and we are out.